Joe Biden is senile and cannot govern the United States.
Republicans have played this same story for the last 3 years, that Joe Biden isn't up to the task, that he's too feeble. But then there was a State of the Union where he blew everyone away.
I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone.
And the next day, Fox started running with this narrative, that he was on drugs.
I guess that's one way to describe it. Tonight, America saw, let's say, a very different Joe Biden. I might call him Jacked Up Joe.
In one day, he went from Sleepy Joe to Jacked Up Joe. And that is freaking Republicans out, because at the same time, Diaper Don's doddering mental state is picking up speed.
Voices of famed evangelical, then it was a big thing. And on Monday, I called back the biggest leaders in the whole world. Richest leaders, biggest leaders. I said, hi, what's up?
So what are the Republicans to do when Biden stands before the camera and says this?
Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice.
Well, the GOP has no answer except to imply, scratch that, outright accuse Joe of being on drugs. And I get it, because their guy's insane. And Joe Biden, he looks like he's ready to start his jiu-jitsu class. That's pretty on point, and Trump took notice, trying to gather his withering wits and respond in some way that doesn't sound quite so crazy. But he couldn't. In fact, it's been a long time since Trump said anything that sounded sane.
The failing New York Times by an anonymous, really an anonymous. I had the best words. Yosemites, Nambia. Thailand. You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. The Democrats, ooh, there was a mosquito. I don't want mosquitoes around me. The disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection? I tested positively toward negative, right?
So think about that. Polls have the race tight now, but does anyone really think Trump is up to going one-on-one with Biden, especially in a room without his chimpanzee supporters? Okay, this is a Republican congressman who is a doctor, but so is Ben Carson, and he denies evolution and thinks Jesus is coming in a flying saucer. So I'm just saying. This Republican was on Fox with Maria Ameloko, claiming he had proof that Joe Biden was lit at the State of the Union. For the record, neither one of these two have been drug tested.
I'll just be very plain and simple. I was in the State of the Union address, and Joe Biden must have been jacked up on something that day. I absolutely believe that from a medical viewpoint, and actually have a little bit of good knowledge that that happened.
Congressman, what do you mean when you say he was jacked up at the State of the Union?
I believe they gave him something to help him sustain the lights and sustain the vigor that he had. That was not Joe Biden. I was in there. He screamed for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. He screamed for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And maybe we can talk offline, and I'll show you something, and I think that proves that.
Well, you'll show me what?
I think I can have some evidence that shows that he was given something before then.
Okay. In terms of a medicine, or?
He's being manufactured and puppeteered by the Democratic Party to be president of the United States. And I fully believe that has to do sometimes with pharmacology.
Congressman, I'm going to follow up on that. I'd like you to I'd like to see more of that. That's really compelling.
Well, that pretty much tells you everything. Again, the GOP talking points are Joe is mentally ill, and let's not talk about our guy. And the timing couldn't be worse for Republicans.
If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions, and then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go person, woman, man, camera, TV.
The first debate is a month away, and Trump has to show up. I mean, he could cancel for a variety of crazy reasons, like the networks have it fixed or whatever, and he really should, because Trump isn't well, and he hasn't been in a long time. Trump lost the debates in 2020, and his mental state was worrisome then, but today, he's angry and barely lucid, like Junior at the end of The Sopranos. And Republicans see it too, and it's not good. But instead of leaning into Nikki Haley as a realistic winning candidate, who, by the way, continues to get tens of thousands of votes from Republican primaries, even though she's no longer running, the GOP instead awkwardly defends Trump while he stands trial, snorting and farting, like the Geese machine he's morphed into.
So all Donald Trump has to do is stay calm, and stay calm during the entire debate, and let Biden rant and rave because Scranton Joe's looking and sounding meaner and more petty by the day. And then Trump, by comparison, he easily appears presidential, cool, confident, and possessing a lot of common sense.
Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch. And the statement of Robert E. Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow.
Ha! That's rich, Laura, but consistent with what I'm telling you guys. The Republicans have been played. Trump can and very likely will melt down on stage. He'll get a question he doesn't understand and start mispronouncing the region or the name. Then he'll start talking about something that makes absolutely no sense, and everyone will freak.
Or in any way tell you what you have to say. They want you to say what they want to have you say.
This debate will have a record number of viewers, with both sides' expectations high and hopeful. But here's the problem. Without his crowd cheering on his mean and spiteful and wholly insane commentaries, Trump will instead be in a room full of adults who know he's certifiable. And this is important. They'll all realize this guy's access to power is like letting a 5-year-old fly a plane. Trump is incapable of having a conversation under normal conditions, but with the pressure and the bright lights and without his support system, he will implode. And when he gets confused, he'll get angry. And jacked up Joe won't get in the way. Plus, there's a very good chance that Trump could, at the time of the debates, be a convicted felon and conceivably be in prison. And while early poll numbers indicated that Americans were sympathetic, that's all changed. After Stormy and Cohen, a majority of Americans now believe he committed the crimes for which he's on trial, and an even higher percentage of independents are moving toward Biden.
RFK said doctors found a worm in his brain that had eaten part of his brain and then died.
And if the worm ate my homework Kennedy Jr. is allowed on stage next to Donnie Diapers, Biden will look like Einstein at a track and field event.
President Biden has done something that no other president in history has done.
And to my point, Trump tweeted this.
Crooked Joe Biden does not want RFK Jr. in the debates because Jr. is far left him, and they would be debating over the same territory like ridiculous open borders and the Green New scam, both of which are killing our country.
But then Trump himself argued against Kennedy being allowed to join the debates. I mean, he's really ill.
I don't care if Jr. joins the debate, but right now his polling numbers are very low. He is not properly qualified in the states, and he seems to be on a downward path. Jr. needs more stage name to get on. Jr. needs more than his name to get on the stage.
Everyone watching this knows someone who is old and has difficulty communicating. But guess what? That ain't Joe. And implying that chugging caffeinated water makes you clearer and more level-headed is plain BS. Biden's mental acuity is sharp, as evidenced by his ability to self-deprecate. Being able to poke fun at yourself is a psychological tell, indicating a strong cognitive presence and awareness.
I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while.
So I'll ask you this. Have you ever seen Trump take a shot at himself? You know the answer. You could write a book on Trump's deep and darkening sociopathy. In fact, 17 psychiatrists did, and the results confirmed what we all knew. He's mentally ill and not getting better. Joe Biden isn't jacked up, except maybe by the direction our nation seems to be moving, where the Liz Cheneys and the Jamie Ruskins of the world can work together. The Republicans have a difficult task. Hiding Trump's degenerative decline will be a Herculean effort, and they will fail, because to fix this...
But I am not unpopular.
There's not enough Red Bull in the world.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong?
Damn right.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I'm Chip Franklin.